I have nothing to do with the document. I've never seen the document. I've seen certain things that are said in it. This is a document I know nothing about. It's called Project 25. I heard about it a week ago and has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Are you ready? I know nothing about Project 25.
Donald Trump still thinks the broader American public is dumb enough to believe this obvious lie.
This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do.
President Trump and Senator Rubio, Senator Vance, I should say, all three of them personal friends.
Not only did Trump's own words in his Agenda 47 policy platform prove him wrong, but Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts did the same on Fox News of all places. But if you've been paying the slightest bit of attention, you should know the links run deeper than just the men at the top of the pyramid.
We've put down our thoughts on what a conservative agenda would look like during the next term of a presidency. One copy is for you and one copy is for the president.
I will hand deliver it to the president of the United States. But perhaps the 2020 mandate can be a blueprint for what happens in a second Donald J. Trump term.
In a leaked video from the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel, ex-Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows gladly accepted a watered-down Project 25 prototype policy guide from the group in 2020.
140 people who were authors or contributors had prior experience working for the Trump administration. Now, this includes people who rose to the highest levels of his government, including 6 people who served as cabinet secretaries, including HUD Secretary Ben Carson, who remains very close to Donald Trump, as well as the cabinet secretary in charge of the Office of Personnel and Management, that's Russ Vought, who I should also point out recently helped put together the RNC platform that Trump approved.
Now, several of Trump's closest allies and former officials are part of this effort, which, quote, will remain bloodless if the left allows it to, end quote. That includes his closest person in charge of personnel from his first term. His name's John McEntee. It also includes Russell Vought, Christopher Miller, and Paul Dans, who is the project's director.
Speaking of Paul Dans, who's now the director of Project 2025.
Has your coalition talked about the prospect, talked with any of the other candidates, just in case President Trump is not the nominee and a different Republican wins the presidency? Have you talked with them? Are they willing, and even Trump, are the Republicans running for president express the willingness to embrace your plan?
Absolutely, and I should even back up. Our entire project is candidate agnostic, right? This is for the conservative standard bearer.
One upside that has come out of all the talk about Project 2025 is how some people are finally waking up to the fact that think tanks and policy research nonprofits hold a ridiculous amount of power and influence over our elected officials. And we're seeing the darkest side of this feature of our political system unfold before our very eyes.
Project 2025 is merely a menu from which he might be able to choose. It has a database of personnel. He's going to make great decisions. Most of them are very much in a line with Project 2025. This is completely in service to what he wants to do. President Trump is going to make decisions about policy in his administration if he wins. Project 2025 is something that's going to transcend the next 4 years, the next 10 years. It really is, for the first time in the history of the conservative movement, the apparatus for policy and personnel. That's the most important thing to remember. By institutionalizing Trumpism, what we're saying is that even though we are known as Ronald Reagan's think tank, I'm a son of the Reagan Revolution, I'm very proud of that's 40 years ago. And we need to understand what time it is in America. And right now, Donald Trump, whether someone likes it or not, I happen to like it, is the standard bearer for conservatism.
We are winning. There are a lot of victories that have been secured. Some of them are partial. Some of them in ways that the other side doesn't yet know are foundations for what's coming. And that's just the beginning. And we're not going to tell you everything that's coming.
The reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
When I look at think tanks like the Heritage Foundation, Federalist Society, American Enterprise Institute, and so on and so forth, as being ways for corporations, the ultra-wealthy, and Republican operatives to undemocratically influence our political system and the future of public policy, it gives me a lot of anxiety because I know that it's possible, right? And the other thing is, as we saw with Donald Trump winning 2016, the other thing is, it shows you how easy these think tanks could just wield their power if they have the money. Say, hey, I got all this money. You need money? Okay, well, this is what we need you to do. And in this case, it is trying to bring us back to a time where Black people and marginalized communities have been disenfranchised, even worse than what we're seeing today in America. And they want to bring that back. When they talk about Make America Great Again, it is not for people who look like me, okay? It is not for people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. It's not for people who are not Christians, okay? It is for white Americans who believe they are superior in every single way. And that's what they're trying to do. So I think the blueprint is really easy for, Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party to use Project 2025 as to show people, look, this is what Project 2025 is about. They are trying to dehumanize you and take away all your rights. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. If you vote for us, your rights will be restored, or at the very least, your rights are going to be upheld with the current laws and policies. But if Project 2025 gets applied and implemented, whether Trump is in office or not, then we have a big problem on our hands. And you do not want that. I do not want that. So I think that's how you have to spin it if you are Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, just to make sure or make it very clear what we're up against and how somebody like Donald Trump getting into office, Republicans getting the majority in the Senate and the House, that is going to be very catastrophic to the betterment of society and the good of America.